This is the Mack G Show.
Welcome to episode 17 of the Mack G Show. Thank you so much for watching. Got a very special guest here today I'm very excited about. Before we go there, though, wanted to comment on two things. Last show, I did not say this up front, but all of you out there, please like and subscribe. It's really important. We need your help. I was thinking if every subscriber on YouTube told two of their family members or friends, right, and had them join, our subscriber count would be 3 times it is today.
Yep, and like I think we talked about before, maybe we'll have some rewards for.
No, not maybe. We
no,
know
we will.
We know
we don't know how we're going to do it yet, but we are going to reward. Some listeners.
We will, but I don't want you to like. I want people to do it just because it's the right thing.
Yeah, no, but
do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Sure.
So please, we need your help. This is really, we want to create a community. We want to create an environment where we can throw something out there and then everybody chimes in and, you know, we want to create that type of thing. So like and subscribe, do what you can to help. The other comment I have is, thank you to the Philadelphia Eagles.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
For what an enjoyable evening it was.
There ain't
last
no
night.
three-peat happening.
No. Number 12 is nice and safe right now.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
I just...
You know what that was last night?
What?
A whooping.
It really was. It really was. I mean, whatever. They knew
Talk
how to...
about boxing. It
Oh,
was on
man.
Oh,
TKO.
So I am just, you know, and I'll do this too.
Let's go.
I'm just really excited because, whatever. I'll admit, I'm a Patriots fan. The last thing I wanted was for the Chiefs to do something that no one had ever done before. Right?
Right.
So I think we don't have to worry about that for another 3 years.
And they have to do it all over again, right? They can't just...
Well, they have to do it 2 more times to get to the
do
point.
that. They're never going to touch Brady now.
you know,
They'll never
Like,
touch
the
him.
Patriots never got embarrassed like that.
Oh, that was an embarrassment.
I don't even think in the playoffs. Never mind just a Super Bowl.
I'm still
that was-
pissed that
except
he
for the time Brady
I'm still
wasn't
pissed
there.
they ended up getting 22, right? Like,
That was garbage.
The
I
garbage
know.
Game was
touchdown.
over.
I know, but I would have loved it.
There was like
to-
no time left in the third, and they had no. There
Right.
was zero.
Yeah, no, it was done. It was a done deal.
Whoever
So,
had the zero square.
was
I won a couple squares.
you did?
Yeah, that was small.
Who?
Nice.
Who?
Who?
Was it at work or was
We
it?
had a couple work ones. Yeah, I
This is,
bought a
what, this is
couple
when
for
he
my
tells
kid.
me it's like a group of friends we know, and then no one asked
No,
me.
it was it was at work, and we had. I got some for my kids.
Oh.
So it was like $250 square. So I told my son, "You name one," but then I'm like, "Wait a minute, you only want
$150
$125."
square.
Well, it's $10. So it was a $10.
Oh, sorry. I thought you meant the square
No,
was the-
Jesus Christ.
Imagine
fell on
that.
No. So I gotta like split it up with my kids
Excellent.
or whatever.
All right. So again, like and subscribe, follow us. We need to create this community. We need it to work. And then
That's it for Philly.
And thank God. Well, I mean, what else you want to say? I mean, the one other thing I commented on before is that like we saw freaking Travis Kelce show up in that brown suit.
Yeah, and he was crying like a baby on the sidelines.
Oh, I loved it.
That was better than the game for me.
It really
watching
was.
him sulk. I love it.
Poor Taylor.
I know.
Well, that's the thing that was
They booed her. She
saw
still
that.
like
No,
booing
that's
her.
the
She deserved it.
Yeah.
But the beauty is they never were in it, so there was never a reason to show her.
I know.
Like she had nothing. I loved it. Okay, let us get on to our guest. Okay, our guest today is a true fighter, both in and out of the ring. A former Golden Gloves and USA boxing competitor, he's a Lowell Golden Gloves champion and a New England Junior Olympics bronze medalist. After a career-ending car accident forced him to step away from boxing, he didn't slow down. He became a triathlete, an Ironman finisher, and completed the New England Marathon Challenge. Now, he's a dedicated coach and personal trainer, helping others reach their fitness and sports goals, all while balancing a 30-year career as a barber and hairstylist. And along the way, he's crossed paths with some boxing legends, including the one and only Mickey Ward. And now, he's taking fitness to the next level as the creator of Enduro Plus Online Fitness, launching soon to provide personal online fitness training coached by Jack himself. Without further ado, please welcome to the Mack G Show, Jack Silva.
Hey, Jack.
What's up, guys? What's up? I like that.
And these people don't know this, but I will tell you that we started this interview 25 minutes ago.
But we're gonna relive the magic.
We are.
We did, but we learned the lesson.
We
so
did.
That's okay.
So that camera was on, which is
Okay.
good,
Yeah.
right? Jack's camera was on,
Okay.
Beautiful.
but this wasn't. So there was no recording.
And that's
audio.
where it all.
That's
That's
where the magic happens.
kind of important.
Yeah.
So that's my bad. But I will tell you this. There was a lot of goodness in that 20 minutes, and there's no fear that we're not going to have some more goodness in the next 20 minutes.
I'm down.
Okay, cool.
All right.
So Jack, welcome.
Thank you for having me on the show, guys. I really appreciate it.
Great having you on the
exciting.
show. I feel like I need to tell everybody, Jack and I met 30-ish years ago.
Yes.
I was working in Burlington, needed to get a haircut, went to the mall. Jack was working there.
I was.
And I've known Jack ever since.
That's right.
Which is pretty cool. And
You must do a good job.
I'm not bad. I think I'm not trying to be Jose Beer with the funny hat, but I always try to do a great
His
job.
hair always looks
on my
good, so
clients.
I wouldn't tell you
when
that.
you have a nice slab of marble,
Yeah.
usually, no, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, you still have a mane. You had a mane then. You have a mane
that's right.
now.
He always looks good.
But you know what? If we wrote down like all the twists and turns, right? So working for someone else, then a few times did your own thing,
Yeah.
then was kind of like somewhere in between, right? Like
Yeah,
you've been
yeah.
all over.
I've done everything you could possibly do in that business.
Yeah?
And it's been a ride and it's been an adventure. I love it.
Yeah.
And
Well, thank God you still love it, right?
yeah, I love what I do. And the number one thing is I love the people that you get to work on. All different people all the time. I'm at InStyle Hair Design and Spa in Westford, Mass. And thank you.
Do you want us to share that?
No, it's great. I mean,
No, we can share it. if you
yeah,
want.
we can share that. And
Okay.
I work for the owner, Camille, and she runs a great salon, and I'm very happy to be there. And I started digging my roots into Westford a couple of years ago,
Yeah.
and
You had your roots in Boxford for a little bit.
I did, but professionally wise, with the hair stuff.
That's closer to your crew.
Yeah,
Where your
and
network.
they took me in, and Westford's been a great spot for me to do hair and grow, and that's been great. It's been a great
Awesome.
couple of years.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. So lots to talk about, as you heard in the bio. But why don't we start with boxing? So how did you get
whatever you want.
into boxing?
I got into boxing through my dad. My dad was a Golden Gloves champion, and he started young. He started when he was 14 in the mid 60s, and I grew up with it. And so watching him do his thing, something I always wanted to do.
And you were saying earlier that one of the things was your grandmother witnessed your dad get into. He was tough area of Lowell.
Lincoln Square section of Lowell,
There we
Massachusetts.
go.
Lowell, a fighting city, a well-known boxing city.
Yep.
And my dad was unfortunately in a street fight at the age of 14 years old, and my grandmother had none of that. She came storming out of the house, saw him, and said, "If you're gonna fight, you need to go to the boxing gym."
And he listened to his mom?
And he listened to his mom like a good boy, and went and he went on to train. Within a year, he had won the Silver Mittens tournament, and he also became the outstanding boxer of the tournament.
Wow.
Wow.
His
that's
first year.
Within a year.
And then he built himself up over the 4 years, and when he was 18, he won the Lowell Golden Gloves,
Which is big.
which was huge, especially then, because
Yeah.
boxing then was so much bigger, so much tougher, and these guys were really, really tough people.
Yeah.
And I don't mean to take away from today's boxers at all, but it is what it is. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like I feel like the generations before were tougher, stronger. We're bigger, stronger, faster now, but they're not as tough. These guys. Even a lot of your pros. I mean, the pros back then, they were fighting every week. Yeah. And some of these guys were starving. Like, they had no money. They needed to fight to get paid so
Yeah.
they could get
Like fight to
food
eat.
to eat.
Yeah, there was no other option, right?
Yeah, so you had a tougher generation of people.
Yeah.
And
But I say the greatest generation, right?
yeah,
Isn't that the
and you see it with work, right? I'm
Yeah.
sure you know how you came up, and you know how hard you worked through school and college and whatnot. And I hate to say it, but the kids that come out of school now, they graduate college, they want to be making $1 million that next year.
Are there boxing gyms in Lowell right now, though, where there are some hungry kids? Or no? Is that gone?
I think there is still some hunger. I would like, you know what? I kind of don't wish people were in that position where they
Had
felt
to be?
that they needed
Yeah.
to fight to survive. Like we've got plenty of options out there now. Like people can do their thing
Yep.
without having to
Right.
compete in combat sports.
Yeah.
But that being said, you really, if you want to do it, you should love it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Try it out, see if you like it. It's just not a sport you can just jump into.
Well, the other
it
thing
takes
too
a lot
is
of
like
work and a lot of effort.
Ultimate Fighting that's got to have taken a ton away from
Absolutely.
boxing.
Yeah,
right?
I mean MMA, UFC.
Yeah.
I mean all these different styles of and before it used to be all these different styles in MMA that would converge and you'd have jiu-jitsu, wrestling, karate, boxing.
Mr. Jiu-Jitsu.
That's
over here?
right. That's
No,
right.
when I was 14, I was a kid. We were talking
Kempo?
earlier.
Right,
Well,
right.
Yeah, it was Kempo. That was just
Kempo.
karate. Yeah, I mean, we used
Yeah.
to, I was the same way when we were, I wasn't a big kid, but, we had fun. We used to go, so I don't know if we got to your story yet, where we used to travel around and fight,
Yeah.
all over New England.
Senseis?
I don't know,
Other
man.
dojos?
I go-
what do they call it? Dojos?
I don't know what it was.
How do you
I
not
was-
know?
I
You
was-
know what it is?
listen, I
He
went to-
watches too much
I- I
Karate
was-
Is it a
Kid and
dojo?
Cobra
I was in-
Kai.
I know, is it a dojo?
Yeah, Miyagi-Do.
I never said
Is it a dojo?
Listen, I went to Revere Karate Academy. We used to just, I loved it.
I bet they call it a dojo
My
now.
best friend was
I
like
bet
a
they
tough
call it the
one.
Revere Dojo now.
No, they never called it a dojo.
I'm
It
gonna look
sounds
it up.
good.
I'm going to look it up.
But it was fun. I liked to fight when I was
Yeah,
younger. And
yeah.
again, I wasn't a big guy, but, we were talking on the last show that we didn't record,
Yeah.
about like wearing headgear and how it was safe
Yes.
then. Like when you got to a certain age, like you couldn't hit in the head. You get anywhere else.
Right,
But you
right.
got points if you got like close. But then when you get to a
geez,
brown
that's-
belt, then you hit in the head. And then
Oh,
everyone's
okay.
hitting the head. So
I
whatever.
always got hit in the head. It was
Well,
just-
yeah.
That's one of the target areas.
yeah, that was the
unfortunately.
main target area.
Yeah.
That what you wanted.
But I used to watch
Yeah.
the older guys, like like Chuck Norris would be, when we traveled, you'd see he'd have his group, and like they kicked the shit out of each other,
Yeah.
roundhouse kicks to the head. It was fun to watch. I liked it. I loved
fun to
boxing. When
watch.
I was a kid, boxing was huge. It was like an
Oh,
event.
man.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like on Saturday nights or whatever it was.
Saturday afternoon boxing. It was NBC,
Howard
CBS.
comes south.
Yeah,
It was-
I mean, those were the days. man.
Cassius Clay.
Boxing was huge. As a
best.
sport when we were younger, it was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I loved like Marvin Hagler. You know what I mean? Like
man, I have a Marvin Hagler story for you.
For one of the segments later, though.
So he was-
yeah,
personal-
I would love to get into that, but we can
We're gonna-
talk about everything
we're gonna,
else first.
No, we're
but
gonna
that
we're gonna
is-
get into that. Oh yeah, we'll get into
when he
that.
fought Sugar Ray, I almost cried. I hated that. It was like boop, boop, boop,
Marvin
boop, boop,
won
boop.
that fight.
I know he did.
Marvin won that
He was
fight.
just such a tough mother effer, and like Sugar Ray.
They
would
had
just
all
go
these special
point, point,
rules
point
for
to get
Ray,
out.
and I like Sugar Ray too, but they made all these special rules for Leonard for that fight, and Marvin still walked through it. And it's a shame that fight happened the way it did.
I hated it.
because if it was the old rules and the old way, Marvin destroys him.
Yeah.
you know, but it was they.
Was it
Hearns?
5? It was
The
5.
Hearns
yeah,
five
the
years.
Hagler Hearns fight was
What was
incredible.
it? 5 years too late? Maybe like if it was 5 years earlier or.
I would
10
think.
years too
I
late?
would think even earlier. It should have been earlier than that. I
Just
think,
Sugar Ray,
yeah.
he was like a boxer, but for
Flash.
points.
He
He's
avoided.
Flash.
He
He's
avoided
Flash.
Marvin.
Yeah.
He avoided him. He avoided him.
Like at the
Yeah.
end of the round,
Yeah.
fly, like point,
Yeah.
point, and he.
Yeah. But we'll talk about
Okay.
we'll talk about the
Yeah.
Haglers.
So, Dad got into it, was very successful,
Yes.
had to go to Vietnam.
No.
Oh, no, trained for Vietnam.
Yeah, no. So dad at 14 became a silver mittens champion.
Yeah.
An outstanding boxing award he gets in Lowell for the
Yeah.
silver mittens. Then he goes on into the Golden Gloves, wins the Golden Gloves championship 1968. He's 18 years old at the 118-pound division. Very light man.
Yep.
But they say he hit like a truck. And speaking from experience, I could probably agree
Yes,
with that.
he did.
He could probably knock someone out at a bar. You know what I mean? Like bigger than him.
Yeah,
he could probably knock him
he
out.
did. Size never really meant anything to him. He didn't think he was this 5'6", 118-pound guy. He did. He thought he was a giant.
Yeah.
And good for him.
Yep.
Good for him. After he won the gloves, he was 18. It was during the Vietnam time, so he got his draft card.
Yeah.
Like a lot of guys.
Yep.
Fortunately, he didn't have to go overseas. He was stationed here in America. He was actually stationed in Texas for a while. And then the war kind of was like dwindling down, so he didn't have to go. And and he stayed home, and which was great because I got to be with him more. And growing up, I always wanted to box, and he didn't want me to box. But I said, well, I'm going to box.
And then sadly,
when
he passed away young, right, with a heart attack.
Unfortunately, he passed away when I was 12.
Yeah.
And he was 32 years old, died of a massive heart attack. And he was a pipe fitter for the Seabrook nuclear power plant, and he worked very, very hard at that job. And but he still had that fire in him, that boxing fire. And we'd come home, we'd put the fights on, and he'd be shadow boxing along with the fights. And you had a
ring in the backyard?
We had a ring set up in the backyard so all the kids could kick the shit out of each other with our gloves, and it was wonderful. Wow. But after he passed away, at 14, I made a promise to myself that I was going to do the same thing. And like I was telling you.
Kind of followed the same path.
Same path, because he was
right?
14, I was 14. Yeah. So I went to the gym, I started training, and when I was 15, I entered the New England Junior Olympic Tournament, and I got the bronze medal in that my first year. Wow. And then the following year, I went to the Lowell Golden Gloves, and I won the 126-pound Greater Lowell Championship. Thank you very much. Wow. And I still kept competing for years after that. I was in the finals of the Greater Lowell Opens multiple times, and I had some very good competition in those years. So I didn't quite win the finals in the Opens.
You must have pictures of all this stuff, right?
I've got some. I don't have a lot, but I do have some.
Those would be kind of neat.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I mean, it's good to reflect, and it's great.
Yeah.
But and but by the time I'm 18, I'm in an accident. I break my arm. I get a compound fracture in my left forearm. And they tell me I'm not going to be able to compete again.
Because you can't.
And I said, well, you don't know me. So I trained, and I had some issues with my arm, and I did compete with it twice, actually. And every time I landed, I hate to brag, but I had a very fast left hook. I would throw my jab out, and I'd follow that with a lead hook. And it was my money shot. It always landed. It was very fast. And I couldn't really do it as fast anymore. And when I did it, even if I landed flush, pain would go right through my hand into where my forearm, where now it has 2 pins, 6 screw in each pin to hold it to my arm together. And then, which jolting pain into my shoulder, my arm would drop. So now I'm boxing with one hand.
Oh, yeah, that's not good.
I'm boxing with one hand, bro.
Yeah,
and it won't come up. It doesn't come back up.
It's like running with one leg.
It's crazy. I had to wait 30 to 40 seconds for my arm to be able to lift back up to protect myself.
Jesus.
And so after that, I was like, okay, doctors were right. I'm not going to compete like that. And
so one chapter closed, but then a new chapter begins.
And it did. And it happened to be. I had family in the hair profession, and I went into becoming a barber and a hairstylist.
Who's the family?
My good friend Rick. He's a Rick, and his wife Anne Marie. They were part owners of a local chain, and they brought me into the business. I was 19 years old.
Wow!
And it just grew from there. And
did you have to go to school, or did you?
I had that. I started. I started as an assistant actually, and then I went to school. And I've been in the salon and spa business for the last 3 decades. And doing that, I've been personal training people in fitness and in boxing.
And that, like, similar is the fact that you got into.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I've always kind of done it. Even during when I was boxing competitively, and all through the whole time, these last 3 decades, I've always helped train people. So I just started turning it into a monetary thing this last 10 years or so.
You may as well, right?
Yeah,
Why
exactly.
not?
I've got all the knowledge. I've done it all. So I pass it down, and I do different things with it now too, which is great. And that's what the path we're on.
I know you're starting your business, and I just want to tell you something for someone like our age. Like I'd rather box right now. Like I can't
go to the gym and just be boring.
Yeah,
lifting
I think it's so much better to do something like that.
Sign them up.
Yeah, no, I was thinking about it. When I was reading your your bio when Johnny told me, and I looked it up, and I was like, I'd rather do that. I can't walk on a friggin' treadmill or any of that. It's too boring.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I need it. Trust me.
No,
If you
bro,
know what my triathlon
I-
is, it's watching TV, eating pizza, drinking beer.
No.
That's my triathlon.
going to the bathroom.
But we have to
Go to
stay
the-
active.
Yeah, right.
We have, but I'm a big believer in and you hear the term thrown out a lot now is hybrid training, right? So I'm big into the hybrid theory, and I love the boxing training. Don't get me wrong, but I love lifting weights too, and I love
Right.
running, and I love getting to that next level with triathlon,
Biking.
and
You
bike.
like biking
yeah,
now?
I mean
Right.
that's a swim, bike, run event. You know,
Right.
so I like doing all those things. Like you, I get bored.
Yeah. I can't run. I got bad knees.
I need to be able to be hybrid and do different things. I can't just do the same thing over and over again. I feel like a mouse or a hamster in the cage just running that spin wheel. And that's not me.
You were a triathlete, right? So we didn't talk about that.
Yeah.
Well, hold on. I think we're slightly premature with one thing.
Sure, let's go. What?
We didn't talk about Mickey Ward yet. Is it the boxing thing or is it somewhere else? Where
No, I mean he's in
no,
the
I know,
whole.
but were you boxing? That's how you knew him, or
Yes.
he was Lowell, so you just knew him neighborhood wise? Like, when should we talk about Mickey Ward?
I mean, we can throw it down right now.
Yeah,
let's,
throw it down.
let's throw it down, man.
Yeah. Throw it down, and then we'll come back. We'll come back.
Yeah, that's fine. So Mickey was the man in the mid '80s. I mean, he was always the man.
How old is
You
he
know,
compared to you?
He's 4 years older than me.
Okay, so you were looking up to him.
I was looking up. I was looking up to
Okay.
him and Dicky. Like
I was going to say before
Gods.
Mickey though, like didn't Dicky have a shot? Didn't he fight?
Dicky was amazingly amazing. He had it. He had it to be a world champion without a doubt. He was a half a step slower than Sugar Ray Leonard.
Yeah.
And when he fought Sugar Ray Leonard,
Did he really knock him down? Because I watched the fighter recently. And he's like, I knocked it down, Ray. I knocked it down. Oh, did he trip? Because the girl's like, he tripped.
I mean, I think he said it was kind of a little trip thing going on, but a lot of people wanted to say it was a knockdown,
Yeah.
but
But he was good, right? Because I
he
watched a
was
documentary on
so
him.
good.
His trainer said he was, he had it.
He
Like you
was
said,
an
good.
absolute natural. He didn't even have to train. He had unbelievable stamina, unbelievable wind. His hands were lightning fast. He hit hard, and unfortunately, we know the story, right?
Yeah, I told you it was that documentary.
Yeah,
on
He
HBO.
had an addictive personality.
Well, it's a lot of people do, and
Yeah, yeah.
Well, the city might get you.
the documentary showed a lot of what he went through in his life, and the movie definitely showed it as well.
Yeah.
But it doesn't take away how good he was as a boxer. And I don't, honestly,
If he was in a
I
different
tried
time, if he was in a different time period,
yes.
would you not have to worry about it, or there would have been something else there?
Might be
that
the
he would've-
neighborhood, right?
That
Like
would have
sometimes the
gotten
streets
him?
get you.
I
Like,
agree.
yeah,
It could have been
Johnny.
anything. It could have been anything.
But you know what I'm saying? So what if it was? What if he was in the middle of Peoria, Illinois, in 1950? Then we would have been fine, or that he wouldn't have been who he was if it wasn't.
who knows?
Yeah.
Put it this way.
That's hypothetical. We don't know.
You feel like, all right, so if the drugs didn't get him, and maybe didn't that, if he had different, whatever, like you said, if you plucked him
Friends.
out, like
Yeah.
from what that trainer said, and from that gym that you must go, that must be your gym. Because that HBO special, they were talking,
Well,
were
that
inside
was,
that gym.
the West End gym was a big part of our gym in Lowell. It's not open anymore.
But he said he had it. Like
yeah.
if it weren't for that, he
yeah.
could have had a belt. He could have.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Absolutely. I mean, he fought on HBO. He fought Sugar Ray Leonard, and he did.
Wow.
He was there, bro. He was there. But we know the rest of that story. I don't really like talking about that part.
it's too bad. No, it was rough.
But you said you do have a funny
I have
story.
I do.
I know you have one. I know you have more than one, but I think you had one in mind. You're like, I think I could actually do
I
this on
do,
the show.
but I wanted to kind of talk about Mick real quick, but you want to
Go,
go right
go,
down?
no, no,
sorry.
no,
But
no,
yo,
no, no, go.
No, if you want to go to Dicky,
Yeah.
No,
that's
no,
fine.
no, go.
I only
go.
said Dicky because I figured
honestly,
Dicky was
none of this stuff happened without that guy. None of it happens without Dicky. So let's talk about it.
Yeah.
So he was the pride of Lowell, right? That they showed it in the movie, and so anyway, he had gotten to a little tiff, and he ends up having to. This is my funny story, and it's related to hair. Actually, it's a hair story.
Yeah.
So he had to go to court or whatever, and he was, they were doing the sentencing and all that stuff. So he's like, well, he called me Jackie. So he's like, Jackie, I need you to color and cut my hair.
Color?
He wanted color.
Color and cut my hair.
Jesus.
He's, like if I'm gonna go in there, I'm not going in there with gray hair.
Oh Jesus! Really?
So how long ago was this?
This was a million years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, a million years ago.
So if Mickey's 4 years older than you,
Yeah.
it means he's 2 years.
Yeah, but
older
let's
than
not
Mickey.
get off
but
track.
But how much older is Dicky than Mickey?
I forget. I don't know. A good amount of time. Not too much.
So
but,
Jack, was that when he like assaulted the police officers and shit like that? And he was going because he went to jail, right? Like,
he did. But so one
Right, I
of
won't say
I'm not
anything
sure.
anymore.
I'm not sure which event it was.
Yeah,
but it was an event, and he's like, Jackie, I need you to cut my hair and color my hair because I used to give guys haircuts at the gym. So I go to his house and I'm coloring his hair, and we rinse it out, and I get to the haircut. But the problem is, honestly, I went a little too dark with the hair color. I went a shade too dark, and we couldn't get the stains off his forehead.
oh shit! Really?
We couldn't get the stains off his forehead. So, like an ass, I forgot to bring color remover because when you color someone, say you can do color remover, it takes the stuff right off the skin. Well, I didn't bring it. I forgot. So bad hairdresser on my end, but.
You were just exploring hair coloring at this point.
So
Did you not have a mirror? Like, oh, looks good.
He's like, listen, if I look like this, I'm not going in. I'm like, okay. So we figured it out that you could take ashes. So one of the family was smoking, so we were taking ashes from this ashtray.
And that would absorb it?
It rubs the color off. But I mean, I was rubbing this guy's head so hard that it was like turning red now. And now that I'm loading him up with ashes, he's got color on him, ashes. He's like freaking out. We finally get it done. Now his skin's all raw. I'm like, oh, jeez. So I'm like, well, take a cold shower, rinse it out. I'm sure everything will be fine. And, I did my job and I left. And that was it.
Did he show up at the thing?
Oh, yeah. He showed
On
up.
video, does his face look all red?
I looked for it. I couldn't see it, but thank God. that was my funny.
Wow.
That was my funny experience with Dicky Eklund.
One of the ones you can say.
Yeah, but what a great fighter he was. What a great fighter.
Is he clean now or no?
I don't talk to those guys anymore, so
Okay.
I have no idea.
Okay.
I'm sure he's doing great.
No, you don't know. Like,
But last time I saw a picture, he seemed very happy.
Okay.
Yeah, a couple of years ago.
Okay.
That being said, he was a great fighter and he was a great trainer. Like honestly, I'm a trainer, and a lot of my style is kind of based on the way he trained people, and because I watched him. He'd work with me, and I'd watch him train other people, and I'd be like, that's the guy.
Wow.
That's the guy I want to emulate in the gym.
Minus all the
stuff, minus all the other stuff. But he could come in there. His energy was go, 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 go. He could train 10, 15 people. He'd be in the gym all afternoon, and then he'd go off for a 10-mile run. I mean, this guy was nonstop.
When he was doing that, did he have all the shit going on too, or that's before the shit really started happening?
There was a lot of stuff going on. I never really.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, was he able to do that at the same time dealing with all the other crap?
I'm assuming yes, right? I mean, like, because we were all there. It was all around that time.
Yeah.
Did you know that what was going on?
So so whenever I was around him, I never saw any of that stuff.
Okay.
I never ever saw any of that stuff. So I didn't really, I couldn't digest or take in what people were saying.
That documentary followed him.
Yeah,
So it was rough.
It was
Like,
wild. When I saw that, honestly, like a lot of people from our town,
You're like, no.
it was. Yeah, I was like, no,
No
but I was disturbed.
Yeah.
I was disturbed. I had a my stomach was dancing. Like I was disturbed, but I never.
Did his brother always know? Did Mickey always know?
I don't know. I don't know. But I never saw that side. I never ever once.
So it wasn't a problem in the gym.
Correct.
Where he's coming in that way or some.
Correct.
So
Yeah.
at least it was-
I never seen that. So it's like I was again. So watching that, I was like,
But he's not
couldn't
training
believe-
now, because that's the one thing you can train
You
for
wonder
your whole
how
life,
he functioned outside of that. Like,
Yeah.
how can you have a life where you're training, like in your functioning normally. And if you saw what they were doing in like crack houses and who's a prostitute and stealing shit.
And he was a phenomenal trainer. He was a phenomenal trainer, as like he was when he was a fighter. He was naturally just gifted. Just gifted. And it's too bad because honestly, I mean, they were making a lot of money at that weight class in those days. He probably could have done very, very well if he kept it together.
Before we go, well, any Mickey stories that you want to talk about? Or just in general?
No, Mickey was a great guy. And I mean, I had a great experience with Mickey, especially when I was coming up because, he was older than me and more experienced. But I had the privilege of being able to spar with him, and I'd be like kind of his like warm up. So he would warm up, I'd get in there, I'd be fighting for my life, and he'd be playing with me. But at the same time, it was great for myself because it helped build my confidence, and it just put in my head that I was on the right path to doing something like this.
What was his weight class? Because
honestly, he's a freak of nature, man. He was like, I think he was like 135 pounds, and he held that weight for 20 years.
Wow.
20 years, man. Like.
Now he's like 250?
No. But I mean, that's discipline. That shows how much he wanted it, right? He stayed disciplined and he kept that weight right where it needed to be, just in case he gets that phone call for that big fight. And he got that phone call.
How long is a boxing career? Like, how is it? Less than 10 years?
It's rough, man. Some guys it's a short stint. Some guys it's a 10, 15-year stint. Some guys, it's longer, and they shouldn't be in there longer. Right. You know what I mean? Like, so...
And next thing you know, they're fighting Jake Paul?
Yeah. I mean,
the scripted fight.
What a disaster that was.
Can I ask you a question? So the gloves were bigger in that fight. So you were saying, I think earlier, that the bigger the gloves, the less...
Protection.
It's
bigger the gloves,
safer.
the more, it's more like a pillow hit.
Padding.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you can still feel it, but you got a little bit more padding, you got a little bit more cushion. Like guys in back in the day, fighting in the 70s, 60s, and 50s, the ounces were a lot lighter. Those guys were fighting with 6, 8 ounce gloves, 6 ounce gloves, 8 ounce gloves. Now you got guys fighting with 10, 12 ounce gloves. I think that one was like 16 ounces. So it's like sparring gloves, practice gloves.
Do you get more tired too? Because now it's
a little heavier. I can imagine it's weighing you down a little bit, especially when it gets sweaty in there.
Like picture like a weight class with your best boxer and your best like MMA fighter.
Right.
Like John Jones. Was John Jones? Who is he? He's MMA.
He's
right?
MMA, correct?
Right.
Yeah.
Give me a weight class with him. Who wins the fight?
If they both weigh the same?
If they weighed the same weight class, would you take...
No, it's two different sports, bro. It's like,
it's even more than two, right?
Yeah. I mean, you got an MMA guy...
Who can be close up, right? The Brazilian thing.
They're doing multiple
they can't go on the ground.
things.
It's like
a boxer, that's one thing. That's
it's
just
like
gloves.
rock, paper, scissors, right?
Right.
Yeah,
like, which wins? Well, if you put rock down, then paper wins.
Right.
But if you put scissors down, that beats...
Yeah, but Jack, can they take a punch? Like, boxers have to be able to take a punch, right, without getting knocked out.
Well, yeah,
that's not a kick to the head, though.
But even MMA guys got to have a good jaw. A lot of those guys get knocked out, too. But
grappling.
Yeah, a lot of the MMA stuff, and we get those guys in the gym sometimes, and they want to learn boxing, which is great, but almost every MMA fight you see, it's 30 seconds standing up. And then the rest goes to the ground.
I don't like the ground stuff. That's what turned me off to that when I started watching it.
And I love boxing too, but honestly, I like watching K1. I like watching kickboxing because you're using your feet, your legs, your arms, everything, man. That's a great sport to watch.
I said, those like roundhouse kicks.
Yeah, not to take away from what I've grown up doing.
The whole grappling thing.
Yeah, but again, back to Tyson. He was wearing 16-ounce gloves.
Right. So they wanted to bump that up, right? So that's normally what his weight class wouldn't use or something. They cut the rounds too, right? Was it like 2-minute rounds?
Yeah, they cut the rounds. Gloves? Yeah, there was a lot of special rules for that fight. But
that was to help Jake Paul, or that was to help?
That was just to help. Probably both, actually. Okay. Probably both.
Okay.
I feel like if Tyson lost his mind a little bit, he'd just kill him. So they're like, let's. What can we do?
I would have liked that. That would have been
I don't get killed.
That would have all right, listen.
My favorite part of that fight is when they came out with the pigeon.
Did someone come out with a pigeon?
They came out with the Paul brothers had the pigeon in the back of the car because Mike likes pigeons.
Yeah, he raised them, right?
They had all the you see the car they drove out with was like this pimped out.
Pigeon in the back.
Jeez. All right, listen. So let's go. We went back to boxing to get the Mickey Ward Dicky thing.
Yeah.
Now let's get back to the endurance sports.
After boxing.
After accident, can't do it. You
Can't
said,
do it.
screw you, I'll do it. And you're like, I can't do this.
Can't
This
do
is
it no
right.
more. The arm broke, baby.
Ironman and New England Marathon Challenge. Explain that.
So I officially retired from competitive boxing. I knew it wasn't going to go anywhere in my early 20s. And I knew I had to keep doing something.
Pivot.
Pivot. Yeah, just to stay in shape, all right? Just to stay active, stay in shape. And my godfather was a triathlete up at Hampton Beach. And so I was like, all right, well, you know what? He told me about the Ironman, and I watched it, and we're watching it, and it was in the early days of Ironman, and the women's division was about to cross the line. It was Julie Moss. And if you look it up, she's the one that is crawling on her hands and knees to go across the finishing line and to finish the Ironman, just losing her everything. Yeah, bodily everything. Yeah. And it was such a scene.
You said I want to do that?
To see her cross that line, and the emotion was unbelievable. Yes. I said, I want to do that.
Can I ask you a question?
Okay.
I want to do that.
Well, not necessarily that, but I want the drive to maybe be forced to do something like
Jack,
this.
I asked you a question.
Go ahead.
Just because I don't know exactly, what is the triathlon? How
That's
many miles?
It's a swim, bike, run.
So
there's all kinds of different lengths.
Okay.
All right. So
Okay.
there's a sprint distance. There's a Olympic distance, which you see at the Olympics, and
Okay.
they have the half distance, which is a 70-mile race, and then they have the full distance, and that's a 2.4 mile swim, 112-mile bike, and a marathon.
Jesus.
26.2.
How long is that usually like?
I mean,
and
honestly,
in that order.
You got in that order, and you've got
Yeah.
people doing it anywhere between 12 and 16 hours normally.
Wow.
But the top pros, it took them forever to break 8 hours. Now they're doing it regularly, like 7.5 hours, 7 hours, 45 minutes. Like, human beings are getting faster, folks.
Jeez.
And maybe it's natural, maybe it's not. But
wasn't it like the 4-minute mile that like no one could do?
No
like
one could
Sebastian Coe did it,
and then
now
people
the
just
whole world
started
does
doing it. Yeah, they found the secret.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah,
It's 110 miles.
humans are getting
12,
faster, man.
112
Humans are
miles.
getting faster. You got, the marathon records being shattered. You got half marathon records being shattered. We're special. Humans can do special things.
Is there an ethnicity that tends to do better? Like, so I always feel like the Ethiopians have cornered the market on the
running,
marathon.
right? Yeah.
But like in the triathlon, is that not the case? Because those other two areas,
It's a mixed bag. Yeah.
So you get all over.
All
right?
over.
It's not like
All
one
over the
country
world.
dominates.
No, I mean, if you had to pick, maybe the Germans, for some whatever reason, seem to be very strong in triathlon.
Okay.
Australians, you got a lot of us. So if you look at a lot of the winning in that it's usually those. We got a few Americans up there, but those are usually the three big ones.
Okay.
That you're seeing up there. But yeah, it's a great sport. So I got into the sport, and I ended up doing it for years and years and years. And now I'm older, and I wanted to become a coach. And on top of that, I also became a personal trainer. So I've been.
But when you say you get older, right? Don't they have age groups that you compete in?
Yeah. I mean,
So that levels the playing
just
field.
like the marathon.
Right.
There's age divisions for
Yeah.
for each person, and I do it to stay in shape. But and I like it. My challenge is always the miles. I don't care who wins, who loses. I don't care about time. I just care about the miles. It's all I care about. And once you get your body going and training, I mean, it's a pretty cool thing. That endorphin high, that's real. That's real.
What's the longest you've gone without working out? Have you ever had a period of time?
I had a brief stint. And I was in my late 20s, early 30s, and I was just being
Burnt out?
I was probably burnt out from my younger years.
Yeah.
And then I just lost track of myself a little bit, and then I got back on the horse in my mid 30s, and I haven't stopped since. So,
Right.
I don't want to stop. I take breaks here and there. Winter is usually, I call winter my grazing period from Halloween
Well,
to
around
New
here
Year's.
it's freaking tough,
you know?
right? You don't want to get on a bike
Yeah.
and go on a street now.
Not really. Like I'll still do a half marathon maybe post Halloween, but usually Halloween to New Year's, I'm kind of taking some time off, and then I get back into it. And
Well, from the road stuff, you're still going to the gym though.
yeah,
right?
a bit of a gym rat, but not super crazy. I'm in the gym training my clients.
Right, so you
but
kind of have
yeah.
to keep it up
Yeah,
too. Right?
absolutely.
You can't be the slob that's telling these guys
Well,
to
and
work out.
that's the standard. Do not look like a slob.
It's like Homer Simpson
you know,
walks in the
I wanna-
gym.
No, Chris Farley.
No,
Let me show you.
I don't turn into Chris. But I let it go a little bit, but that motivates me to get back into shape too, because I like doing that. I like having that rest. I like having that break, and then by summertime, all pistons are
There you go.
firing, and I'm where I want to be.
Yeah.
So it's a good break for me. Some people can go all year, and God bless them. That's great. But for me, I like that break because I feel like it's a rejuvenation period for me, and it's good to rest, especially as we get older. I was telling you earlier about my Enduro Plus platform and the aging athlete. That's I want to be able to do this kind of stuff, in my older age as well as a senior citizen, and when you want to keep moving, but that happens now. The what you put into it now is what's going to help you later in life.
But sets the table for later on.
I totally am a firm believer in that. Absolutely.
So do you think if someone's let it go for too long, can they still get back?
They still can get back. Yes, there's ways to do it. There's tools to do it, and it's a slow crawl. If you're out of shape, I mean, it took time to put those pounds on. So it's going to take some time to take them on.
Set proper expectations.
Yeah, absolutely, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. Everybody can come back.
So let me ask you this: I am 56 years old.
Yeah.
Right. Go to the gym occasionally.
Yeah.
Stopped playing basketball last year, which is probably a problem because it keeps your heart going, right?
Right.
So people my age, what's the biggest mistake we make, like when we're working, like when we decide we're going to work out? Like, do we do too much? We don't do too little?
Jumping in too hard, too fast.
Okay.
Ease into it, right? I mean, it's like a marathon. We're not in this for the sprint, bro. We're in this for the long haul.
Yeah.
The long haul. What you're putting into it now, and I try to tell people this is my analogy when I'm training people, that you got to think of yourself now as you're preparing for the future. Right? Think about yourself. Or think about
You're not trying to be great today. You're trying to be great 2 years from now.
Yeah, I mean,
Kind of.
and healthy and strong. And I mean, think about my analogy is like if you're looking at these people that they're senior citizens now and there's no muscle tone on them at all, and there's a lot of heaviness. There's body fat there, right? And their bone density has shrunk. So if there's something you were able to do while you were younger, so you can help prevent that later in life.
Yeah.
You want to do that, right?
Yeah. You don't want to start.
You want to do that.
You want to start now.
You want to start now, and
Yeah.
and if you miss some time, don't beat yourself up. Get back on the horse. Don't try to kill yourself all at once. There's no need, and you put that muscle on now. And because God forbid, you might need to use it. Something may happen to your bones. Something may happen where your legs aren't working that great anymore. So you're going to need that upper body strength to move yourself around, or vice versa.
So when I see your kind of Instagram account,
Yeah.
right, Jack's Fit,
Yeah,
right?
Jack's Fit 12.
What ages of people are you helping? Right? Like, is it all across the board? Like, I could be helping a 22-year-old, I could be helping a 68-year-old.
And I do. I have all ages.
Okay.
All ages, man. So I train kids. I train seniors. It doesn't matter. I don't care. I'm there to help.
But you tweak it based on age.
Yes, absolutely. Like, so when you're in your teens and your 20s and 30s, you're competing and training. I mean, a lot of things that won't affect you at those ages, right? But when you're done, say, competing, or if you're done doing anything hardcore, but you want to maintain 40s, 50s, 60s, and on, you want to have a program that's going to keep you going that you need to sustain yourself in life.
What would you suggest to somebody? So, like me, who, I mean, Johnny goes to the gym. I haven't gone to the gym in years.
I don't go
but
as much
I mean,
as I
I
should.
grew up, I played every sport. I
Right.
played sports a lot, but I haven't done, I work a lot.
Yeah.
Chase my kids around.
Yeah.
But I want to start I have to do something. I got to get my heart going. I have to get,
You have
cardio
to,
going.
you have to do muscle and strength conditioning. You have to do cardio.
So where do you start? You start like walking a little bit, four times a week?
Even if it's a walk, or you mix it up. I like a split.
He likes to skipping.
I like a cardio day, and I like a lifting day.
How much cardio
or
is
sometimes
beneficial?
Sometimes if you have minimum time, you combine that, right?
Okay,
So but you need to, because your cardio is going to take care of your heart and your lungs.
No, but I think what he was getting at with the cardio thing, right, is even on the lifting front, you don't have to go out and run 5 miles day one.
No.
You could literally start
20
and
minutes.
Go walk for
That's what I'm
10
saying. So
minutes.
20 minutes. And if you can't do 20 minutes, try to do 10.
I'm trying to walk the
And,
dogs.
you know,
like my wife and I are trying to get
yeah.
just started.
We were
Yeah.
doing that. Remember we were doing that?
But my
Yeah, but it's
wife and
freaking
I are
snow
doing it all the
everywhere.
time.
You got to start small. Don't set the expectation too high. When you feel good, push. Right? That's when you push.
Do you like people to like write it down, like chronicle what you're doing, or if that's not a big deal? I mean, there's so many apps on your phone now.
It's good to have some data, so you can see where you're at, see where your start period was, what you're doing, what your goals are. Data's good. Data's good. It's important. It's definitely important because you want to see how yourself
It can motivate
improves.
you if like 6
Yeah.
months later you're like, oh my god, I'm doing so much more.
Yeah.
Like that helps you.
Absolutely, and it keeps you motivated. Yeah,
So
it definitely keeps you motivated.
I can't run. If I run when I run to first a couple times, like the next, because I've had a few surgeries on my knees. I can't run. So what do you suggest? I mean, I have an elliptical, like low impact.
whatever doesn't hurt. Whatever doesn't hurt, man.
Rowing,
rowing, riding the bike, elliptical.
I gotta get moving.
Yeah,
Get a machine where you just go like this.
because
like I said, I get
gotta
bored,
do
man.
something.
I gotta
and walking that dog. Let me tell you something. That's the best.
Yeah.
That's the best.
nice
You go
to
out
breathe
walk your
fresh
dog.
air.
You can
it's
do a
the best.
speed bag, right? But
Well,
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
right now, my
Minimize-
dog walks me. I mean, he's a year old and he's like, kind of let him roam. So, but I try to get a half hour in that way.
That's beautiful.
But
That's great.
I got to start, getting like I have.
Well, here we
weights in my
go.
house.
Jack's going to
I
inspire
know,
you and
I know.
I.
Absolutely.
I love to I
yeah,
love to
man.
box.
Yeah,
We
That'd be
might
great.
even be
That'd be
able to
great.
be Enduro Plus customers.
Absolutely.
I'm looking into that. I was looking at your site earlier. But
Great. Thank you.
So
All
wait.
right,
So yes, Enduro Plus Fitness is going to be my online
Tell us about it. Tell us
portal
about it.
for online training, and I'm very excited about it. It's been something I've been planning for a long time, and we're going to finally get it going. And
Nice.
I'm very happy to be on the show, letting you guys let me talk about it.
Yeah.
And I'm pumped. I'm pumped because I'm going to be able to help people and train people. They can train from home, from another gym, their home gym, wherever they are. And we're going to be able to do this online together.
Is that something where you
And it's-
broadcast and everyone's doing it together, or is it
No,
personalized?
it's going to be completely one-on-one training.
Wow, okay.
And
But they can be anywhere and you can be anywhere and you're still training them.
you could be on the other side of the world, man. I can
That's
still
awesome.
train you. And
Wow.
I won't need a gym.
Is there a
And-
visual? Are you using phones so you can see stuff? or something?
Yes,
Okay.
we are. And there's going to be a lot of instruction. There's going to be written workouts. There's going to be all kinds of stuff. So I'm very excited about it.
How do you find clients? Advertising?
Just social media, bro.
And word of
it's
mouth?
honestly, yeah, that's been the number one thing to get this going. Is just been social media.
Yep.
And again, I just got this going, and
You have a website?
I'm proud of it. The website is coming.
Okay.
And
Do you own the URL yet? You got to secure that.
yeah, I know.
Okay.
I know. Yeah. That is on the way.
Okay.
And,
get it.
Yeah.
Get it done, Larry.
I've got some socials out on it now, but we're creating the website as we speak. So it's I'm looking
Just
forward
another thing that you're adding to your plate.
Well, but that is, everybody wants to work from home nowadays.
That'd be great.
Right? And people are working from home. So you're training at home, and I can work from home because I'm training you from my home.
Yeah.
So it's just, that's the way seems to be the way we're going.
Yeah.
And it's not leaving anytime soon. I only see it growing. So I wanted to get in on that part of the market.
Wow.
And go
And I
for it.
got mad at you because you've had this idea in your head and never told me about it.
This is I just
You
wanted to
think
make
I wasn't
sure.
going to steal it?
I've had a lot on my plate.
I got you.
We never even got into like when you're a barber, a stylist, or kind of people say you're like a therapist. Sometimes
Yeah.
do they just unload info on you all the time? Like people, even people you don't even know well.
Yes,
they just start telling you stuff.
I have
like,
a couple
"Whoa."
of crazy hair stories, and
Ricky,
What?
what do
we
we
just
got?
hadn't gotten to it yet.
Oh, sorry.
Well,
we talked
No,
about
we have the
Before I
notes.
get to that, though,
Yeah.
we skipped over the New England Challenge, which was huge.
Go
for me.
ahead, go.
All right, so the New England Marathon Challenge was a challenge I took on, and it was to run a marathon in every New England state.
Oh,
And,
wow.
And I put myself into that. I threw myself in. I ended up doing all the states. And
no,
in New
wasn't the
England.
trick question that you did one in Rhode Island, but you ended up in another state because there's no 24 miles? Such a small state.
Right. I was on a trail. I know that in Rhode
I
Island.
started one in
was
Rhode Island, but I ended up in Connecticut.
I was getting attacked by geese on some trail in Rhode Island.
So
But,
you finally finished it?
Yeah.
What
Yeah, I
order
did do it.
What order did you do it in?
I got to say, I did Mass first, New
Yeah.
Hampshire. So I purposely kept Vermont last because I knew that was going to be the hilliest.
Yeah.
And I was right. And that was quite the challenge. Again, I don't do these events for time. I don't do these events for first place. I don't care who's in last place. I've always
Check
done
mark.
it. No.
You did it. No, you didn't.
No.
Oh, no.
I've always done it for the miles.
How many miles?
I got literally addicted to the miles. And it's crazy. And you get this endorphin high, bro, that
Wait, like keep adding up the miles?
I don't
That's
care
the deal?
what alcohol or drug affects people and how they get to their happy place. All I know is this endorphin rush brought me to my happy place many times. I ended up doing 10 marathons. I did a training run for Boston. I did 28 miles. So the marathon's only 26.2.
Right, yeah.
I just wanted to fucking keep going. So it puts you on this cloud, man, that nothing can ruin your day.
And your body holds up, right? Because sometimes that can
Mine luckily has so
Yeah.
far. You know, like
Yeah.
I'm not going to say everybody can do it because you don't know until you're tested, right?
Is part of the rush though actually getting to that goal? So it's like the goal and the mile. Like
I
your
don't know,
body
man. For
getting-
me, it
No,
was
it's-
like
it's
while I
being
was
in that moment.
It was while I was in it. It
Yeah.
was while I was in it,
Right.
and it was such a freaky thing. And when I did Ironman, it happened again during the marathon. I had already done. We didn't have our swim portion that year because it was like a hurricane, where it was a post hurricane. So they turned the Ironman into a 100-mile time trial bike race with a marathon on top of it. So you're going like a bat out of hell for 100 miles on your bicycle, and then you got to run a marathon. By the time I got to the marathon, I had pushed so hard, I literally felt like I was out of my body when I was on the marathon course.
What is the recovery period after?
I literally, honest
that?
to God, I felt like there was Jack running, and on the right side, about 15 feet in the air, there's Jack running next to him.
Jeez. It's
right.
like surreal. It's like
It was so
adrenaline.
surreal.
Oh, shit.
My hands felt like the air felt soft. Like it was incredible. It was the most amazing feeling I ever felt rather. And it was pretty much the whole marathon.
Wow.
It was pretty much the whole
So
marathon.
why would you not want to do it if you can get that feeling
Dude,
doing it? Right?
it was
No, so
unbelievably
what is the
euphoric.
recovery? So
Euphoric.
listen, that's a euphoric moment. And you're like, when can I feel this again? Realistically.
The next one.
Yeah, but realistically.
And then the next one.
But how much
And then-
time does it
And then when
take?
you're not doing it, guess
No, but
what?
how much-
You hate life.
No, but how much time does it? How
That's
much?
actually like an addict.
No, but how,
It's exactly like
no,
an
no,
addict.
no.
And there's a lot of addicted runners, but go ahead.
no. So let's say today you just had that euphoric thing, and
Yes.
you're like, when can I get my next hit?
Yes.
Realistically, when can you get your next hit? Is it a 3-month recovery? Is it a 6-month recovery? Like, what's the recovery
So
for that?
I did 10 marathons. I kept doing them. I wouldn't stop. I just kept going. I kept going. I kept going because
So-
I wanted to get that feeling back. Right? It was literally like being on a drug. And
So January 1, you run a marathon. When do you run your next one? What date?
I was trying to get one in at that point in time. I was trying to get one in about every 4 to 6 months.
Okay.
All right. You
So you have to work up to
yeah,
it?
you do. Well, not really. I mean, you get it done.
It's more recovery,
and then
right,
you
from when
recover for a week or two, and then you just slowly build back up again, right? And that's kind of how the cycle goes.
you've got barbering, you've got training, you've got coaching, you're going to launch this new thing. How do you balance it all?
Will and determination. I work very hard at what I do, and I usually keep all my training and my fitness stuff in the morning. I like to do that. I like to work with my clients in the morning. I like to work out in the morning. And then I like to get into the salon usually around 11, 12 o'clock, and I'll hang out till about 8. And
Just got a long day.
yeah, long day. And then I go home, eat, rest, recover, go to sleep, do it all over again.
What's your
morning.
favorite? We forgot. What's your favorite training meal? Like if you're gonna eat.
Well, I'll say I love animals, but there's nothing like a good steak after a training session. There's nothing like a good steak.
How do you like it cooked?
I'm medium rare.
That's how you're
Oh,
supposed
you
to.
just
Yeah,
totally
medium rare.
hooked him up.
Listen,
Yeah.
that's how
That's
you're
how
supposed
you're
to eat.
supposed to.
Like,
Oh, and so if you Google that, that's what they tell
no,
you.
but if you go to a restaurant and you tell them you want something well done, they're gonna throw you out.
Yeah.
Say, get out of here.
you had to fucking say that. didn't you?
Medium rare, baby.
That's how you.
You know.
Well,
Don't get mad at me.
That's how you two eat.
Yes.
That's how you
It's the
two eat.
Portuguese. It's the Portuguese.
I guess you're right. Oh yeah, we're gonna do a family tree thing because these two might be related.
I definitely my
Right?
grandfather.
I mean, that's incredible.
Oh, there's Silvers in my
Azores.
family. For sure.
We're out of the Azores originally.
You know what? I asked my mother today. It was Lisbon.
She didn't know.
Yeah.
Oh,
I,
Lisbon?
my father told me it was Azores, but my mother said no. Her father's from Lisbon.
Yeah.
So you could get to. My nephew was doing the what do you call it? Like you?
Oh, ancestry?
Yeah, he's doing
DNA
he's-
testing?
I'll tell you this: it's beautiful over there. A friend of mine went there, sending me all these videos.
I said I was going to do that.
Yeah, my
Did-
sister-
I- no, I
my
told you I
sister
could do
went last
that.
year.
Did you say you wanted to do that? Someone told me recently they wanted to do some exploration with their
No,
family tree.
that wasn't me.
No?
No.
Someone
So you're talking about Portugal?
Yes, correct.
My sister
Yes.
went last
Yeah,
year.
It's
She said it's
beautiful.
beautiful.
Yeah, it looked great. It looked great.
I think she looked up.
I've
'cause-
been to Portugal.
You did.
I did.
Did you like
when
it?
I was at Cognos back?
Okay.
You knew me when I did this.
Yes.
We had a club trip and they randomly chose Portugal and it was awesome. So we flew into Lisbon and then we went to Sintra,
Nice.
which is a little bit further south. It was gorgeous.
Do you have any other names like so? So I have Pimentel, like Silva and
Right.
Pimentel with an E. I see a lot of it. That name.
Well,
when
we're Silva, but I am told in the old country a lot of people were Da Silva,
Okay.
and they shortened it when they came to America. So I don't know if that falls in line with my family, but I do know that was a thing.
boxing movie. What's your favorite?
Oh, yeah.
If you had to go to, if you had to pick one, you're on an island. They're going to give you one boxing movie. What are you getting?
One.
Yeah.
I'm watching Southpaw.
Oh, really?
I'm watching Southpaw. Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah, I know what you're talking.
Not Rocky?
Rocky was great. Rocky was fantastic, but honestly, I felt Southpaw was so good and raw.
Really?
That I really
Have you seen
liked
it?
it.
I've seen-
I felt
I
like
don't-
the fight scenes were very well done. They did a great job with that, and Jake got himself in great shape for that movie. I mean,
How long ago? Because I think I saw it like a ways away.
it was a while. When was
Yeah.
that? 2015 maybe
Yeah,
it
was a
came
little-
out.
Yeah.
Oh, so almost coming on 10
yeah,
years.
was jacked
maybe
up,
maybe
though.
even earlier, but it was a good movie,
Okay.
man.
Yeah. It's all jacked
Yeah.
up for that movie.
Yeah.
What's your favorite?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I mean, how can you? Like, I liked Rocky for sure.
Yeah, that did
I
it
like
for me.
Raging Bull when I was like little. Like,
Yeah, you
like,
gotta,
like,
when De
you know.
Niro was normal.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, don't go there.
Whatever normal is. Whatever normal is.
No.
And then you said the song, like music you like to listen to is either rock or hip hop that gets you fired up.
Yeah. I like a lot of rock, and but when I'm hitting the bag, if I'm doing the boxing work, I'll usually listen to hip hop. Yeah, I like hip hop a lot.
Did you like Kendrick Lamar's halftime show?
It was pretty good.
I actually liked it.
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
I did not.
Did you know that he was just shitting on Drake the whole time?
Yeah. It was
Yeah.
it was
No
a
idea.
Drake thing.
Oh
Was
my
it-
God. Really?
He had Serena Williams. He had his like ex-girlfriends there
dancing and
dancing
doing their
around because
thing.
Oh, really?
it was a really
yeah.
It was I didn't realize that.
It wasn't
My
a
daughter
great.
told me.
It wasn't a show-stopping performance for
Yeah.
a Super Bowl. I felt
No, but
like,
if you enjoyed it, that's good.
but I felt like it was a good performance.
He did a good
He did a
job.
good job.
He did a good
yeah,
job.
Yeah, he held it together.
I know that when I was watching my daughter, what is it, SZA?
SZA, yeah.
Yeah.
She
That's
likes
just
SZA.
yeah.
She said she likes SZA.
I think she was a girlfriend of Drake's too.
Oh, is that the deal?
I'm telling you, it was
Yeah.
it was a complete
just a
F
slam?
drop. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
the Eagles was a slam to the Chiefs, and
Yeah.
Kendrick was a slam to Drake.
Correct.
Just slams
He
all
actually
around.
walks across the stage. He calls him a pedophile in that song. Oh,
Yeah, it's
he
not
likes
good.
young girls.
Yeah, it's
But
not
it's
good.
not. It's not good. It's not like a friendly
Not
jab.
good.
Jeez.
But you didn't ask me where my favorite place to go.
I was just gonna do
No,
that.
you said you were gonna, and I was waiting for it.
What is your favorite place to travel to?
Hawaii.
I think they pronounce it Hawaii. Whereabouts in Hawaii? Because there's options.
I love Hawaii. My 2 islands
The
so
big
far
island, or
have
no?
been Oahu
Yeah.
and Kauai. And
Didn't you have a buddy? Don't you
yeah,
still have
that's
a buddy?
Rick
Okay,
who got
yeah,
me
yeah.
into the business. Him and his
Yeah, yeah.
wife have a salon and spa out in Kauai, Hawaii called
Oh, nice.
Boston Hair Design. So if you're out there, people, go and see them.
So you can
get their hair
train
done.
them now.
You know what? They're in great shape too.
Whatever. You still need
They're
to
in
train.
great shape. I mean, I don't know if they need me.
Enduro
Yeah.
Plus, baby. Come on. Do you need me to call them and tell them?
Yeah. No, they're doing great. They always look
All
good.
right. So we're finishing up. Again, we're going to share everything that we can on this show. But
Sure.
where can they find you? Instagram?
Right now, let's go to JacksFit12 on Instagram.
Okay, and we'll show
that's
that on the screen.
JAXFIT12.
We're going to show it on the screen. You
Yeah,
don't have to worry. We'll show
absolutely,
it.
absolutely.
Although, you know what? I keep thinking YouTube, but say it again because when on our audio stuff, they don't have the visual.
Right.
So it's what?
Enduro Plus Fitness.
No, the
And then
Jack's Fit.
On JacksFit12 on Instagram.
JAX.
JAXFIT12 at Instagram.
And that's because you're a Tom Brady fan?
No, my birthday's May 12th. I'm a 12. I was 12
I knew he was
before
a
Brady
May.
was
Remember
12.
I told you. It was
He did say that. I gotta hear.
And if you want to reach out, if you need to get some training done, please message me in the DM, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible, and we'll get it done.
And I will say this: if somehow you can't find him, but you can find us, just tell us.
Sounds
and we'll
good.
Point them in the right direction.
And if you can't make it to the gym, we'll get you on the Enduro Plus platform, and we'll go from there.
Awesome. So, final advice to our listener. Now, I think there's various people that listen, but I think the target audience is guys our age.
Sure.
Right? Probably dads. They don't have to be, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So you commented on the fact that that's an important time to make sure that if you haven't re-embraced exercise and health, you should do it now. So what
yes,
is your
100%.
final advice to our listeners?
My final advice to people is to, if you are working out, stick with it. If you're not working out, start.
Love it.
Yeah.
Jack, thank you so much for coming on.
Well, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. It's been great.
And again, we will look forward to hearing the evolution of Enduro Plus.
Yes, absolutely.
And if we can be a part of that growth, we would love to do so. Whether that
Absolutely.
means personally, you can be our
we
trainer.
might have to film a workout, and then we'll go from there.
That's right.
I'm telling you, I need to do something. I'm
Yeah,
thinking
this will
about
be
it for
good.
us.
This
We
will be
all
good.
do. We all do. So thank you guys for watching. And Ricky,
We'll see you.